What do you do when your own brother steals everything you fought for? Anna, 32, thought she'd built a solid life, a thriving graphic design business, a loyal dog named Milo, and a steady boyfriend, Mark. It was a world she'd carved out with years of grit, a quiet triumph over a chaotic family. But Ryan, her charming, reckless younger brother, saw it all as his to take. In just weeks, he'd wormed his way in, turning her success into his playground, and Anna into a stranger in her own story. Her troubles began subtly. 2 months ago, Ryan, 28 and freshly jobless, showed up at her door, his duffel bag slung over one shoulder. "Just until I get back on my feet," he'd said, flashing that grin she'd never learned to refuse. Anna handed him a key, asked him to walk Milo while she worked. She trusted him. Family was family, after all. That was her first misstep. Ryan didn't leave. He sprawled on her couch, ate her food, left messes she cleaned up. Anna held her tongue, hoping he'd pull himself together. Then the cracks appeared. Her clients started mentioning Ryan, praising his new ideas for their projects. Mark began spending more time with him, laughing at jokes she wasn't in on. Even Milo, her scruffy mutt, trotted after Ryan like he'd found a new favorite. One evening, she confronted him in her cramped kitchen, arms crossed. "Ryan, what's going on? You're not even looking for a job." He leaned back, cracking open one of her sodas. "Relax, sis. I'm helping you out. Your clients love me. Mark thinks I'm hilarious. I'm just adding a little spark to your life." "My life doesn't need your spark," she snapped. "I need you to step up, not take over." He laughed, brushing her off. "You're too serious, Anna. Live a little." That night, she found an email on her laptop, her business account left open. It was a pitch to one of her biggest clients, signed with Ryan's name. He'd used her portfolio, her contacts, claiming he was her new partner. Her stomach dropped. This wasn't help. This was theft. The next morning, Mark stopped by, his usual calm replaced with an odd excitement. "Ryan's got some big plans," he said, sipping coffee she'd made. "He's pitching your business to a huge firm downtown. Said he'd cut me in if it works out." Anna froze. "He's what?" "Yeah," Mark went on, oblivious. "He's got a real knack for the stuff. You should be proud." Proud? She felt sick. Ryan wasn't just crashing on her couch. He was stealing her work, her relationships, her dog's loyalty. And Mark, the one person she thought she could lean on, was cheering him on. She called Ryan into the living room, her voice tight. "Did you pitch my business behind my back?" He shrugged, lounging with Milo at his feet. "I saw an opportunity." "You're welcome." "This isn't your opportunity," she said. "It's mine. I built it." "You're overreacting," he replied, scratching Milo's ears. "We're family. What's yours is mine, right?" Anna stared at him, her brother, the boy she'd protected, the man she'd trusted. He didn't see her life as hers. He saw it as a stepping stone. And as Milo wagged his tail at Ryan's side, she realized something worse. He might actually get away with it. She didn't sleep that night. Her business, her boyfriend, her dog, all slipping through her fingers, handed over to Ryan like a gift he didn't earn. She could let it go, keep the peace like always. Or she could fight back. By morning, her choice was clear. She wouldn't lose everything to her own brother. Not without a plan. Anna woke to the sound of Milo's paws clicking across the floor, following Ryan to the kitchen. Her apartment, once her sanctuary, now felt like a stage for her brother's takeover. Yesterday's confrontation replayed in her mind, his casual shrug, his claim that her life was his to share. She'd built everything, her business, her relationships, her peace, and he was dismantling it, piece by piece. But Anna wasn't ready to surrender. Not yet. She pulled herself together, splashing cold water on her face, and made a decision. If Ryan thought he could charm his way into her world, she'd outsmart him. She needed proof, something concrete to show her clients, Mark, even herself, that he was crossing lines. She grabbed her laptop and checked her business email again. The pitch Ryan had sent stared back at her, bold and shameless, signed with his name over her work. It wasn't just bold, it was sloppy. He hadn't even bothered to log out. Anna scrolled through her inbox, her pulse quickening. There were replies, 3 clients, all intrigued by Ryan's proposal. One, a big fish she'd been courting for months, wrote, "Excited to meet your new partner next week." Her jaw tightened. He'd set up meetings, pretending to be part of her team. She could confront him again, but he'd just laugh it off. No, she needed more. She opened her client files, years of designs, contracts, emails, all hers. Ryan had access to her laptop, her passwords. How long had he been digging? She checked the login history. Sure enough, multiple entries from the past week, times she'd been out. He wasn't just crashing here, he was studying her life, plotting his move. Mark's words echoed. He's pitching to a big firm downtown. Anna's stomach twisted. That wasn't some casual brag. Ryan was aiming high, using her reputation to climb. She had to know more. She grabbed her phone and texted Mark, keeping it light. "Hey, what's this about Ryan and a big firm?" He replied fast. "Oh yeah, he's meeting them tomorrow. Said it's a game changer for your business." A game changer. For her business, or his? Anna paced, Milo watching her with curious eyes. She couldn't let Ryan walk into that meeting, but she couldn't stop him without evidence. Then it hit her, her old voice recorder, tucked in a drawer from her freelancing days. Small, discreet, perfect. If she could catch him admitting what he'd done, she'd have something solid. She waited until Ryan left to run errands, Milo trailing him out the door. Anna slipped into action, setting the recorder under the couch, hidden but close enough to catch his voice. When he returned, she'd steer the conversation, get him to talk. It wasn't foolproof, but it was a start. Ryan strolled back in an hour later, tossing his keys on her counter, like he owned the place. Milo bounded over, tail wagging. Anna forced a smile, leaning against the wall. "So, how's the job hunt going?" He smirked, grabbing a snack from her fridge. "It's going. Got some stuff lined up." "Stuff," she pressed. "Like what?" "You know, opportunities," he said, vague as ever. "I'm working on something big." She took a breath, nudging the recorder's direction with her foot. "Big like that pitch you sent my client? The one you signed your name to?" He paused, mid-bite, then shrugged. "Yeah, that. They loved it. You should thank me." "Thank you." Her voice sharpened. "I spent years building that business, Ryan. You can't just slap your name on it." "It's not like that," he said, leaning back. "I'm helping us. Family sticks together." "Helping us," she repeated. "Or helping yourself. Mark said you're meeting a firm tomorrow. Using my work." His eyes flickered, surprise, maybe guilt, but he covered it fast. "Mark talks too much. Look, I'm just opening doors. You're too busy to see the potential." "Potential for what?" she pushed. "To take my clients? My boyfriend? My dog?" He laughed, scratching Milo's ears. "You're paranoid, sis. I'm not taking anything. I'm just borrowing a little." Borrowing. The word stung. Anna clenched her fists, but kept her tone even. "Borrowing without asking is stealing, Ryan. You know that." "Stealing's a strong word," he said, standing. "I'm family. We share, right?" She didn't answer. He grabbed Milo's leash and headed out again, leaving her with his words and the hum of the recorder. When he was gone, she retrieved it, hands trembling as she played it back. His voice crackled through every excuse, every dodge. It wasn't a confession, not fully, but it was enough to show intent. He wasn't helping. He was claiming. Anna sat, the recording looping in her ears. She had proof now, but it wouldn't stop him. Not yet. That meeting tomorrow loomed. If he walked in, pitched her work as his, she'd lose more than a client. She'd lose her edge. She needed a plan, not just to expose him, but to take back what was hers. She called Mark. "Hey, about that meeting Ryan's got. Where is it?" "Downtown," he said, casual. "Some fancy office on 5th. Why?" "Just curious," she lied. "See you later?" "Sure," he said, oblivious. She hung up, her mind racing. She couldn't crash the meeting, too risky. But she could beat Ryan to the punch. She opened her laptop, drafting an email to the firm, her fingers flying. Subject: clarification on tomorrow's meeting. She'd set the record straight, professionally, firmly, before he could open his mouth. As night fell, Ryan returned, Milo at his heels. He didn't suspect a thing. Anna smiled, hiding the fire building inside. He thought he'd won. He was wrong. Anna barely slept, her laptop glowing in the dark as she polished the email to the downtown firm. She'd titled it simply, "Clarification on tomorrow's meeting." Every word was measured, professional, direct, unshakable. "I'm Anna Carter, sole owner of Carter Designs," she wrote. "No one else is authorized to represent my work. Any pitches you receive are mine alone." She attached proof, contracts, timestamps, her portfolio, leaving no room for Ryan to twist the narrative. She hit send at 2 a.m., her heart pounding. It was a preemptive strike, but it felt right. Morning came too fast. Ryan shuffled into the kitchen, Milo trailing him as always. He grabbed her coffee, and grinned. "Big day today, sis. Wish me luck." Anna forced a nod, sipping her own mug. "What's the plan?" "Meeting some people," he said, vague as ever. "Gonna shake things up." She didn't push. He'd see the fallout soon enough. As he left, suit jacket slung over his shoulder, she watched Milo wag his tail at the door. Even her dog was under his spell. It stung, but she shook it off. Today wasn't about feelings, it was about reclaiming what was hers. Her phone buzzed an hour later. The firm's reply: "Thank you for clarifying, Miss Carter. We'll address this at the meeting." Short, neutral, but it meant they'd gotten her message. Ryan was walking into a trap he didn't see coming. Anna exhaled, a mix of relief and nerves. She'd stopped the pitch, but the damage wasn't undone. Not yet. Mark called next, his voice chipper. "Hey, Ryan's on his way. Said it's a done deal. You okay with him taking the lead?" Anna's grip tightened on the phone.
"No, Mark.
"I'm not. It's my business, not his." A pause. "Wait, what?" "He said you were cool with it." "He lied," she said flatly. "He's been using my work, my clients." I told the firm the truth. Mark went quiet, then sighed. "Anna, he's your brother. Maybe he's just trying to help." "Help doesn't look like this," she snapped. "He's taking over my life, my business, my dog, even you. Where do you stand?" I didn't know," he stammered. "I thought you were a team." "We're not," she said. "I need you to see that." He mumbled something about talking later and hung up. Anna stared at the phone, her chest tight. Mark's loyalty wavered, caught between her and Ryan's charm. She couldn't dwell on it, there was more to do. She pulled out the recorder from last night, playing it again. Ryan's voice, smug, dismissive, filled the room. "What's yours is mine, right?" It wasn't enough to nail him, but it fueled her. She uploaded it to her cloud, then texted her top clients, the ones Ryan had contacted. "Quick heads up, I'm the only one running Carter Designs. No partners here." Short, firm, professional. She wasn't letting him rewrite her story. By noon, her phone lit up again. Ryan calling. She let it ring twice before answering. "Yeah. What did you do?" His voice was sharp, no trace of his usual grin. "The firm just grilled me, said you emailed them. They canceled the pitch." "Good," she said, calm but cold. "That's my business, Ryan, not yours." "You sabotaged me," he shouted. "I was doing this for us." "No," she cut in. "You were doing it for you. You used my work, my name. That's over." He huffed, incredulous. "You're insane. I'm your brother." "And you're a guest," she said. "Not my partner. Not my boss." He hung up, leaving silence. Anna set the phone down, her hands steady now. The line was drawn. But Ryan wasn't done. She knew him too well. He'd come back swinging, charm or guilt or both. She had to be ready. Mark showed up an hour later, his face clouded. "Ryan's a mess," he said, stepping inside. "Said you ruined everything." "Did he tell you he stole my designs?" she asked, arms crossed. "That he's been lying to my clients?" Mark shifted, uneasy. "He said it was a misunderstanding. That you're overreacting." Anna pulled up the email Ryan had sent, shoving her laptop toward him. Read it. His name, my work. Tell me that's a misunderstanding. Mark scanned it, his brow furrowing. Okay, that's not cool. But he's family, Anna. Can't you work it out? I tried, she said. He didn't. I'm done letting him take what's mine. Mark nodded slowly, but his eyes flickered with doubt. I don't know where I fit in this. Then figure it out, she replied. Because I'm not sharing my life with someone who doesn't see me. He left without a word, Milo whining at the door. Anna sank onto the couch, the weight of it all pressing down. Her business was safe for now. But her boyfriend teetered, and her brother was a wild card. She checked her email, clients responding, supportive, confused. She'd held the line. But the fight wasn't over. Ryan's key turned in the lock that evening. He stormed in, Milo at his heels, his face a mix of anger and defiance. We're talking about this, he said, dropping his bag. You don't get to ruin me, and walk away. Anna stood, meeting his gaze. I didn't ruin you. You ruined us. And I'm taking it back. Anna faced Ryan across the living room, the air thick with tension. He'd stormed in, Milo at his heels, demanding a fight. His words still rang. You don't get to ruin me, but Anna wasn't backing down. She'd spent years building her life, and she wasn't letting him dismantle it any longer. Ruin you, she said, her voice steady. You use my work, my clients, my trust. I'm not the bad guy here. Ryan scoffed, pacing with Milo trailing him. You're selfish, Anna. I was making something bigger for both of us. You threw it away. Bigger for you, she corrected. You didn't ask. You took. That's not family, that's a leech. His face darkened, but he didn't argue. He couldn't. The evidence, her emails, the recording, her clients' replies, pinned him. Instead, he switched tactics, softening his tone. Come on, sis. We've always had each other's backs. Let's fix this. Anna almost wavered. That tone, that plea, it was the Ryan she'd bailed out a dozen times, the brother she'd loved through every mess. But this wasn't a mess. It was a choice. No, she said. You don't fix this by talking. You fix it by leaving. He froze, eyes narrowing. You're kicking me out? You've got until tomorrow, she said, crossing her arms. Take your stuff. Leave the key. Ryan stared, then laughed, sharp, bitter. You're serious? Over some emails? Over everything, she replied. My business, my dog, my life. You don't get to borrow what's mine anymore. He grabbed his bag, muttering under his breath, and stormed out, slamming the door. Milo whined, pawing at it, but Anna knelt beside him. You're mine, buddy, she whispered, scratching his ears. He licked her hand, settling at her feet. One piece reclaimed. Her phone buzzed Mark. She answered, bracing herself. Hey, he said, hesitant. Ryan just called. Said you're done with him. Yeah, she said. I am. A pause. Where does that leave us? Anna leaned back, staring at Milo. That's up to you. I need someone who's on my side, Mark. Not his. I didn't know what he was doing, he said. Not really. But I should have seen it. I'm sorry. She waited. Sorry was a start, but it wasn't enough. Prove it, she said. Show me you're with me, not just along for the ride. I will, he promised. Give me a chance? Maybe, she said. We'll see. She hung up, her chest lighter but not unburdened. Mark had work to do, and she wouldn't wait forever. For now, she turned to her laptop, drafting follow-ups to her clients. Carter Designs remains mine alone. Thank you for your trust. She sent them off, each one a brick rebuilding her foundation. Ryan didn't come back that night. The next morning, she found his key on the counter, his stuff gone. A note scrawled beside it. You'll regret this. She crumpled it, tossing it in the trash. Regret? No. Relief, maybe. Milo nudged her leg, and she smiled. Justice now, she told him, grabbing his leash. Days passed. Her clients rallied, praising her clarity, her work. Mark showed up with coffee, hers, black, the the way she liked it, and a quiet apology. "I'm here," he said. "No more middle ground." She nodded, letting him in, but kept her guard up. Trust took time. Her business hummed again, her designs hers alone. Milo stayed by her side, no longer torn. She walked him through the park one evening, the air crisp, her step sure. Ryan had texted once, "You win," and she hadn't replied. He'd drift, charm someone else, but not her. Not anymore. Anna sat on a bench, Milo at her feet, watching the sunset. She'd lost a brother, maybe a piece of her past, but she'd gained something bigger, herself. Her life wasn't perfect, but it was hers again, every hard-won inch. She'd fought for it, and she'd won. Her phone pinged a new client inquiry, a big one. She smiled, typing a reply. Ryan had tried to steal her spark, but he'd only made it burn brighter. She wasn't just surviving now. She was thriving.